Hi everyone, it's Leona with Leona's Designs. Welcome to another Scripture Sunday 2025. We are in September and we're focusing on verses that have the word peace in them. And this week we're on week 36 of our 52-week Scripture Sunday Journaling Challenge. And our verse for this week is Psalm 119:165, and it says, "Great peace have those who love your law, and nothing causes them to stumble." That's Psalm 119, verse 165 in the New King James Version. And that verse is really a great verse to ponder and think upon, and we will be doing that all this week. I know I will. I've already looked up a little bit about it and wanted to see what it actually meant when it says great peace. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now I want to give you the journal prompts. The color this week is light blue. The shape is oval. And the art supply is tissue paper. So as I always say, you're free to use all the journal prompts, 1, 2, or none, whatever your choice. But we do focus on using the scripture. And I am working in an art journal. In case you're new here and you haven't been following the Scripture Sunday, every week I do post this weekly Scripture Art Journaling Challenge. And I've been working in an art journal, which I created from a magazine. But I know some people are working in junk journals or prayer journals. So this challenge is for any type of journal that you want to work in. I just prefer this year to work in art journal. So my magazine page this week has this image on it, and I don't always use the images that are in my magazine. A lot of times I jostle over them. But this particular one I thought would go with this verse very well, because it has a lot of rocks and this little rocky path here. I guess it isn't too rocky, but it's a path through this mountain, this great mountain. And there's a lot of obstacles there. And this man is making his way upward on this path. And it just appealed to me that I could use this image for our verse this week. Because if he has great peace, if he is following Jesus, he will not find anything that would cause him to stumble if he's following Jesus. But should he stray a little bit off the path or not be following Jesus exactly or keeping his eyes on Jesus, then he might stumble, right? So I'm going to use this verse, I'm going to use this image, and I'm going to cover up the rest of this text here with some gesso and some light blue paint. So I'll be using the light blue, and then for the tissue, just have some thin white tissue paper here. I thought I could make some oval clouds. So either I could cut out clouds or tear them and just glue a few clouds up here and make this like a blue sky with clouds. So that's my plan. It's kind of a simple page this week, but I think it will be fun. So I'm going to get my title page image that I printed out, and I'll be right back. Well, I can't find it, so I'm going to have to reprint it, but let's get started. I'm just going to put a little bit of gesso down on the top of this page, and Hopefully I have enough gesso in here. Ooh, I've been storing it, sitting upside down, so I guess I do have enough. More than I needed there, I think. But we'll have a thick covering of this text. We'll have kind of a textured sky here. And then I can put some tissue paper clouds down, hopefully. That's my plan anyway. So I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a good day. The weather's been nice today. We had a good service at church. And I'm excited to work on another Scripture Sunday 2025 with you. Welcome to all my new subscribers. I appreciate you subscribing and watching my videos. I hope you're inspired. And hello to all my subscribers who've been with me for a while. Appreciate you. Appreciate you visiting and liking and commenting. I do want to shout out to Lonnie over at for Grace for You Creations. She's been following along and doing some of these Scripture Sunday videos on her channel, so I appreciate that, Lonnie, and I hope you're being inspired, and anyone else that would like to do that or share their creations on our Facebook page or on Instagram and tag me, I'd love to see them. Just going to add a little bit of blue here. It's not too light of a blue, but trying to use the prompts as much as I can because they challenge me. You know, sometimes it's hard to come up with an idea. It's like you're staring at a blank page or a page that's got some image on it, and you're thinking, what am I going to do with this? And sometimes the prompts can help you. So I was going to talk a little bit about the verse, the great peace that we have, those of us who love God's law and study it and read it and believe in it and walk with Him daily. We have that peace that Jesus talks about, the peace that is beyond understanding, surpasses all understanding. But this verse was written by David in the Psalms. And, of course, we know that was before Jesus Christ came to earth. However, I believe in the Old Testament that Jesus appeared to people in the Old Testament as well before He came to earth. There's several scriptures that have images of Christ in them, either appearing or speaking. So, however David received this word about great peace, it's still, he was talking about, during his days, the law of God and those who followed the law of God. Well, we know when Jesus came to earth, He fulfilled the law. He said that. I did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. So Jesus Christ is the fulfillment of the law. So those of us who believe in Jesus and have accepted Him and follow Him, we are following the law. And nothing can cause us to stumble. As long as we're following him, keeping our eyes on him, he will keep us safe. So what I like to do is I imagined, when I looked at this image here, I imagined if this was me following Jesus, I would be going upward. This is an upward path. He's going up into those mountains. And though the path might be kind of rocky, it might have a lot of stones, it might have a lot of obstacles, it might be slippery in some places because I see some snow here. But he's just focused on where he's walking, isn't he? And if he's following Jesus, Jesus is not going to lead him into any dangerous places. And if he does walk through the valley of the shadow of death, Jesus is right there with him to help him. His rod and staff will comfort him. So, but if he takes his eyes off of Jesus, if he gets off that path and over here into these obstacles and rocks, or into a slippery place, he could stumble and fall. And then what would happen? If he called upon Jesus, Jesus would be right there to come and help him. So this verse, talking about great peace, we can have that great peace all the time if we're following Jesus, because he is the fulfillment of the law. So that's my take on this verse. And great peace, if you want to look up the synonyms for great peace, it's abundant, it's unsurpassing. There's no peace like it. So I'm going to let this dry now, and then I'm going to come back and put my tissue paper oval clouds in. Okay, so I think this is dry now, and I can see if I can create some little clouds. Just going to kind of double up this tissue paper. Just cut it down here a little bit. And see what I can do. So let me see if I can cut an oval. Probably I should just tear it. I'll cut a big one and then I'll tear it. I think. Let's see. Crinkle it up a little bit. Hopefully this will look like a cloud. Kinda does. Make this one a little bit smaller. Oops. A little too small. Yeah. I have to leave some room for my title, so just gonna kind of make it a little smaller. Looks more like a rectangle than an oval, but it started out as an oval. So I got my title here. And I might just glue these to another piece of tissue so they're a little bit wider, and then I will glue them down. So let's see if I can accomplish that. And I was also thinking about the Psalm 119 that David wrote. And how he comforted himself when he was running from Saul and hiding in caves. He must have really had great peace when he was facing all those enemies and being fearful of Saul, trying to kill him, yet kept his faith in the Lord. And he was encouraged. So thankfully we have a lot of his Psalms that we can read and be comforted during the times we are fearful or fleeing from enemies. I think that looks pretty good. Like those two little clouds there. And this. And then I'm just going to plan to put this scripture right there. And I think that is going to be my page. It's pretty simple. It wasn't a very hard page to put together, but it was fun. And that's what matters, right? Fun and meaningful. Because when I go back and look at these, as I sometimes do, I think I need a little more glue on there. As I go back and look at these, as I sometimes do, they encourage me. So I'm glad I'm excuse me. I'm glad I'm able to do this every week, and I hope and pray that I can continue and finish this art journal with all these scriptures this year. And I hope I'm inspiring you to maybe follow along and create your own in some way. I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you got something out of this video. And if you did, leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up, and let me know. Great peace to you this week as you follow Jesus and read his word. Blessings. Bye-bye.